So this is going to be invoice tabulation, but specifically we're working on the responsibility of UmBUS invoice tabulation. Okay, so before UmBUS invoice tabulation, you have client income tabulation. So based on the client invoice tabulation is how you get the list of UmBUS budget pools, and then you do the UmBUS invoice tabulation beforehand. And before that, you have individual pre-tabulation verification. Okay?
Okay.
So this is basically step 1. This is step 2. This is step 3. And so we're on step 3. After this, you do the net profit, no, not net positive revenue versus net negative loss per worker, and then main body team. And this is going to be the new basis for ranking in the budget. And then 5, we update the budget information. Okay?
Okay.
So that's basically the process here for the tabulation. We're making progress here, and it's gonna happen. And so now we're on here, we're on right in the middle of it. Number 3, UmBUS. Okay, so everyone understand where we are?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is the UmBUS invoice tabulation responsibility, and we want to link the responsibility organizing link information. So we don't have, if Albina was here, she technically should have that. Otherwise, she shouldn't have been working in the first place. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If you don't have a responsibility link that's been verified, you're not allowed to do the work. But Albina has been doing the work, so we would assume that she has a responsibility organizing link. We just don't have it with us. All right. So, but if you guys click on the invoice, you might be able to find it. If you go to the invoicing doc, maybe it's in there somewhere. You can check. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so now where I'm going is I'm going to the spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet is the UmBUS pool tabulation for 138 degree. Oops. And then we link it to our notes. So this is the UmBUS pool tabulation 138 degree spreadsheet. Okay, boom. Okay. So the first thing we have here is the goal of the first part is the actual amount of UmBUS pool that has been approved in the budget. This is supposed to add up correctly. I guess she didn't make the changes, but it's short by 5034. The 5034 that was not included was, which one was it? Up, Lucy?
Yes.
Which client work wasn't included? It was no work on client relations and invoicing, client invoicing. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that $50 is lost. Someone should have done that work. They didn't. And so the total adds up to 604. So this is the total worker income. Total maximum income for the worker. And this is the actual amount that was the work, right? So this was $399, $68, $82, $108, $108. This is all correct. $380 correct, $799 correct, $302. So that's correct. 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, and then 0 for this one. This one's 0. So the total's 553.76. So this is the actual total amount brought in. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So then you take this and you come over here, and we can verify to see if this is updated. Oh, look, she has the correct amount here, so maybe she did update this one. So this should, I don't know why this is 3.5x. So this could be a problem. It looks like this isn't 3. So final UmBUS budget. So I don't think this is even necessary. I don't know what this is or why. I think this is just for the previous step. I don't think we actually need that. What we want to go to is the individuals and the super teams. One pre-tabulation, maximum potential income. Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to organize by individual in the new world. So we should be able to do this quite easily. And let me also just quickly pop open the client one. I believe we have that here. Yeah. So the client one, the outcome of this was the final UmBUS budget pools. So we had 12 final UmBUS budget pools, and this is the amount, this is the total. We started with the client income, the maximum client income, maximum potential income, right? And then this is the total amount we could have brought in, and this is the actual amount that we did bring in from the clients. Then we did client income tabulation per individual. So we organized by individual, and we got the pre-tabulation totals, and then organized it by actual, and then broke it down by percentage. So this is what needs to get done, and this is what hasn't gotten done yet. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that's what we're gonna do. Is we're gonna do this next. So all we have to do is hit duplicate here. And technically speaking, we could do this all in the same spreadsheet. And I think eventually we will. Eventually we're going to have one spreadsheet. We're just going to click the button. It's going to just do it all automatically. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and do a duplication so that we don't have to make it so messy, you know, so that it can be a little cleaner. Because this is perfect as is. So this is kind of like the first part of the tabulation is just to get the total actual amounts. So these are the total actual amounts. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So we don't want to mess this up. So we're just going to go ahead and do a new one. And this is going to be totals per individual / super team. So we're basically doing the same thing as the client one. Client income tabulation per individual. And this is going to be UmBUS work totals per individual. Okay, I'll just say UmBUS totals per individual. So the first thing we want to do is get the total amount, right? So if you come in here, you can see that we have pre-tabulation totals, maximum totals, actual income from client. So this is where we left off. So then we're going to add the actual UmBUS pool. So I come in here and I would say, we don't need any of this. This can all be deleted. We don't need that. So then let's just go ahead and make a line there. And then we're going to add in a line that says UmBUS pool. So the UmBUS pool is already listed over here. That's it right there. So we can just use an equal sign. In the future, this should all be done automatically. We won't actually have to even do it. So
Yeah.
this is just for organization purposes so that we can see it a little bit better so we know what we're working with. All right, so those are the, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then the 12th one's 0, so we're basically just ignoring it, and that is the client relations and client invoicing. All right, so the UmBUS pools are good. So then the next step is, I think we can skip that one, total hours. Okay? So then we go here and we say total hours. So the total hours would be equal to the work that was done and the hours that were done for that. I believe it's the person. All right? So let's double check here. Total hours per person. Yeah.
Per person or?
Yeah, it's per person. So we're going to go here, that. And then we have plasma. Wait, did I do the whole thing all the way down? No. So this is the total number of hours. This should work. Oh, oops, that's all.
Can also do.
Yeah, you guys can definitely help on this. All right, so making progress here. Just want to make sure we get everybody. That looks good. And the next one, that was sponsorships. The next one is taxes and finances. And then we've got J support. And multimedia percentage. I don't know why that's a percentage. And then we've got budget. So you can do budget. I'll do documentations.
Are we taking the hours after multiplied by 1.5?
No, we're just taking the direct number of hours.
Okay.
And eventually we're going to want to set this all up to do it automatically, okay? So here, I'm going to do the one for the budget, okay? I'm just going to do it for you. So just go equal sign to the number of hours, and then drag it out. Okay, you got it. Perfect. All right, so that's all the numbers, that's all the total hours. So then the next part is the percentage work. So the percentage work is based on, oh no, the total hours is actually the total hours. Oops. All right, I did that wrong. All right, total hours is the actual total number of hours that was worked. So the total number of hours worked is actually 48 hours. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay.
And these ones are actually the same as the other ones, so we might be able to just copy and paste them in. I don't know. Nope, not going to. All right. So then 39 hours for this one. Perfect. And then this one. So yeah, it's the total number of hours, not the number of hours per worker. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So these ones are going to be the same, and then this is obviously not correct either way. Budget is 14.25.
So you are going with the total only?
Say
total
what?
Hours.
Huh? Payroll is 36.25. UmBUS internal work is 22.75. And worker coordination is 101. We do more worker coordination than anything else, which makes a lot of sense because it's the hardest thing to do. Okay, so now that's correct. So now that has the total number of hours for each UmBUS pool. All right, now we do the percentage of work. So the percentage amount of work, so percentage work is going to be the number of hours each person worked divided by the total number of hours. And then you can double check and confirm that it adds up correctly, that all the work should add up to 100%. So again, the percentage work is the number of hours each person worked divided by the total number of hours, which equals the percentage work of each person based on their hours of work that they did. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
And then we add it up to make sure it's 100%. So again, the number of hours each individual worked divided by the total number of hours equals the percentage of total work. Obviously, this is 100% because there's only one person who did that. All right, so then you come down here, you get the total number of hours each person worked divided by the total hours of everybody. And then you just make sure it adds up to 100%. All right, so I'm going to go back to the bottom if anyone wants to try one out. But I just take the number of hours each individual works divided by the total number of hours. That's the percentage. And make sure it adds up to 100%. Okay, and again, eventually it's going to all do this for us automatically. Perfect. Awesome. Great. Okay, so we did it. Okay, and we just need to make sure that these add up to 100% so we know they were done correctly. Yep, perfect. All right.
Good.
Next is the total amount of money. Okay, so this is total money. So in this case, oh, this is 100%. So in this case, the total amount of money is $3.99 because it's the 1.42x. So this is the money per hour, total money times 1.42x. Okay, so everything's always 1.42x. Do you guys understand why it's 1.42x?
Internal ops.
I know, but do you understand why internal ops is 1.42x? And it's not just internal ops, it's all the work for the workers, including the UmBUS pools for client work as well.
I don't understand. I think you just divide.
So basically, the client work only represents, all the internal ops and all the client work only represents 66% of the total work, right?
Yeah.
But we all know that we also spend time planning and training and talking and communicating and doing all this other stuff that isn't actually doing work. And that takes up 1/3 of our time. So what we have is we know that it's 28.5%, right? So technically we should be able to do 128.5%. This should actually be enough to pay everybody on your super team. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
But if we did exactly 128.5%, there would be no buffer, and everyone would have to work exactly the amount, and then there would be no internal budget for the team itself. So the super team gets a little bit more than that. So it's 142% minus the 128.5% required equals 13.5%, right? And if you do 13.5% divided by 142%, it equals about I think it's about half that. I think it's about 5%, somewhere between 5 and 10%. So yeah. Basically, it's not for profit. Well, yeah, it's not really for profit, but it gives a little bit of a buffer to allow for the team to build their own budget over time. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. All right. So the total money is equal to the 1.421, because that's the actual income and money coming into the team based on each individual's involvement. So we just go ahead. This one isn't added up properly, so we need to add this one up. And this is just going to be the same as this one, 100%, 100%. Are you following pretty good, Abdul?
Abdul?
Are you following pretty good?
Yeah, I just following.
Great. So again, in the future, this is all going to happen for us automatically, but it's important, for people to understand what they're doing so that they understand why it's all happening the way that it is, right? So we are getting through it all, and we'll get all the totals. Cool. So we're almost done here getting the totals. And again, we're only using it's very important to be using the 1.42x, because if you only use the total, it would just not be enough money to pay everybody. Does that make sense? Because this is our budget. We need a buffer to be able to have costs to pay people for all the work that they don't get billable, right? So a third of our work is not billable. So we have to use the 1.4x so that we can cover all the costs of people's workers. Okay, right, so let's get this all brought down. What happened? What happened here? All right, cool. All right, so we're done with that. So that was the total money. And then we're going to do the percentage of the money. Right, so then we have percentage of the money. And obviously this is going to be 100%. And then you're just going to take the total amount of money, or the amount of money each person brought in. So this, for example, Lucy brought in $71.89 for Plasmo. And then we're going to divide that by the total amount of money. And then that gives us the percentage. And again, in the future, this is all going to be automatic. I believe actually we can just copy paste this.
Yeah, just copy.
We can go much faster. Oh, we missed one. We missed one. And we missed it twice. We double missed it. My computer is not happy at all. I need to delete like a lot of, close a lot of windows. Coolio. All right, so what you can see here is that there's subtle differences between, the percentage of the money and the percentage of the work, right? So it's like 8 versus 7%, 28 versus 25%, 16 versus 15, 40 versus 38. So there's subtle differences. Those differences get a lot bigger if the amounts of money are bigger. For example, let's say Miguel was here making $7 an hour. It would be even bigger percentage differences. So we do this to basically make it fair for everybody, regardless of the amount of money per hour that you're working, so that it averages between total hours and total money, and gives it makes it fair for everybody. So then here we're gonna just create a line and do the actual final calculations. And this is going to be the final percentage, and then you're going to have that's kind of weird. Okay. So the final percentage is Q2 plus S2 divided by 2. So this is the final percentage is equal to this. So it's just the two percentages divided by 2. So this is odd. Oh, whoops. We gotta go like that. There we go. That's better. So obviously that one's 100%. So this gives a perfect fair number to everybody, so everyone gets the amount that they deserve. And again, this will all happen automatically in the future, but it's good to know how we do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, this I don't really understand. Total income, actual net income. Oh yeah, so then we're going to take the total income. I'm totally confused why there's a difference between this one and this one. But we're just going to use the total number again. Because there's...
Okay.
I don't know, maybe this is done incorrectly or something like that. But let's see what's going on here. So the total here is based on F10. Total money F10. And then you have the 3x. Oh, I see. So it doesn't really matter. Oh, wait, 169. Where is that coming? Oh, it's coming from this. Maximum potential income is the actual maximum that you can bring in. Okay. So yeah, so the actual total income is the maximum budget pool. Right? So this is the maximum budget pool, right? Or maximum unbus pool. Maximum right? So this was the total of the work that was done, but we know the maximum budget pool is only 68.82, right? So if we go like this, the total actual brought in was 68.82, and so that's the maximum that can be made, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, that's going to be 108. So we know that there was $209 of work done, but the maximum is only 108 is the maximum that can be. That's just the money that brought in. We didn't bring any more money than that, so we can't pay any more money than we actually brought in. So that's what's happening here is we are just simply equating it based on the actual money. What is this? Oh no, it looks like we missed the budget. So there was a problem here. So the budget is actually there, not here. So we made some mistakes here. Let's see if we can fix this. So this is the total hours, which is this one. That's 3. Oh wait. No. So do you see how we missed the budget?
Yeah, even I realized.
So
I think
percentage
because
work
I don't know.
is gonna be this. Yeah, I think we started it, but then I thought it was wrong and we deleted it. All right, so total money is equal to this. Let's just say total worked money. You guys could be working on the other ones while I'm getting this budget one updated.
Yeah.
All right, percentage of the money is going to be the same for everything. Boom. And let's make sure it adds up correctly. 100%. Perfect. Great. Okay.
Okay.
Final percentage is going to be the same rate, and then the actual maximum is the 50/34. Cool. So we are literally almost done. It's probably going to be another like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then we will be done.
Payroll has the same amount with the budget. We have documentation 50. All of them are 50/50, Jeff.
Yep, they're all the same, although that could change in the future. So I'm just getting the equations all set up. So in the future, if that changes, then it'll just update it automatically, okay?
Okay.
All right, so now we have the entire equation set. We have the exact percentage each person's work, the exact maximum amount that can come in total, and then we do the actual net worker. So this is the net worker. We could just call it a contribution. Contribution. Technically, it's to team income. Okay, so this is instead of global income, it's just or super is technically super team income. And then each of the super teams pay the workers. And so this is just a simple calculation. It's just, you know, the percentage times the total. So this is equal to the percentage times the total. And then this gives you the exact number for each person. And then everyone can see how much that they did. And I think this will be helpful for people to realize, like, you know, who's doing the most work, you know, whether people are spending their time wisely, whether they should work more on one client than another, so that we can balance the work happening throughout the organization and make sure that everybody is contributing to the level that we want. All right, and then we can also just quickly sum all of this and double check that it all comes out correctly, because the sum of all the people's individual contributions should equal the same as the entire group. So 553. So this is the whole group contribution, and now we know exactly how much each individual contributed for each budgetary item. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it seems like a lot that we just went through, but really we didn't go through that much. All we did was we just took the overall team budgets and broke it down, and we figured out exactly how much each individual brought in based on the actual budget, and that is the definition of tabulation. That's what tabulation is. So now the tabulation is complete. Now all we're doing is formatting. So to fix the formatting, we're basically going to get the super team, the worker, the client, and then their amount in the correct order. So we just go ahead and paste that there. The super team is going to be line A. The worker name is going to be B. The client is actually the UmBUSpool is going to be C. And then the amount is already done. And then this is just going to get pulled down all the way across. So this is literally just for formatting. There's no actual reason why you would need to do this. It's just for the format. All right, done. So now I can take all of this and I can copy it. And then we can create a new spreadsheet. And we can paste it here. Whoops. I'm pasting it as is exactly. This is all dollar amounts. And then we're going to freeze the first row, and then we can just organize by worker and by super team. So now we just instantaneously do unbelievable amounts of work through a little bit of sorting, and we can get the exact actual budget for the new world, 125.60, and also the exact actual budget for the old world, 428.15, and then both of those added together should also add up to the correct amount, 553.76. So we can confirm that over here. Let's see here. 553.76. That is correct.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the final individual/super team contributions. All right. So then you can also break it down by individual. So you can see here Jessica is 38. Zilu is 87. Albina is 144. Joseph is 66. Lucy is 170, and Steve O is 38. Okay, so does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so then the last part of this whole process, so this is fully complete. This is totally done. This is all you need to do the tabulation. This is all you really, this is the super team, so this would be the new world super team. This is the number, that is the final budget number for the actual super team, the money that's brought in. And this is old world right here. This is the actual number. Obviously these numbers are really low. If we had more clients, we actually follow through with the work that's supposed to be getting done, it could go sky high. And then we'll break it down by, there could be 8 super teams, you know, and multiple different other teams. You know, we could break it down to as many teams as we want. But then we actually are going to do one other last thing, which is going to be your net positive revenue versus net negative loss. Okay? So in the relationship with Lucy, Lucy has a $300 per month budget, right? That's how much money she's getting paid. So if you take $170 of the money that she actually brought in, and you subtract the amount of money she got paid, she has a $129 loss. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the goal would be to get to 0 and then to go into positive numbers. The goal is everyone's getting to positive net revenue. And then this can be turned into a percentage. So you could do 129 of 300 would be a negative 40%. So you can compare each person based on total amount as well as percentage. But in the end, it's going to be based on their number of hours, right? So in the budget, what'll happen is that before, like, let's say someone brought in $0. Is there anyone who brought in 0? Yeah, we'll have people who brought in 0. So you could have their budget being like, let's say someone's budget is $250 and they have $0. That would be a full negative. It'll be negative $250. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So therefore, it's going to be 100%, right? So it'll be equal to, we'll just write it down, a negative 100%. Okay? So what you'll see here is that Lucy is going to go into a higher tiered budget because she is at least has some, even though it's still a net loss, it's a 60% improvement, right? Or at least it's a 43% improvement from what she had before, right? So instead of 100% loss, it's only a 43% loss. So that would put her in a different tier of budgeting. So everyone's initial goal is just not to be 100%. Then once you actually start bringing in income, you are in a different tier, right? And then eventually your goal is to be at 0%. Once you're at 0%, then your goal is to get up to a positive percentage. Does that make sense? So as soon as you get into a positive percentage, like let's say that Lucy wanted to get paid $300 and she brought in, instead of 170, she brought in, 400. Now suddenly you would end up with a positive $100 and she would end up with a positive 33%. And this would be a different budget tier, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
But this all goes on the budget. We don't actually have to do that here. Okay? I'm just noting, like, this is the next step, but this can happen in the budget, but it's just good to have it and understand what it would be. The next part of it would be, what is the next part? There's one more important component. So the only other thing that's going to happen in the budget, I'm not going to go over the budget. We're going to do that another time, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, but we'll go over the budget together. We're going to be updating the budget to these new, very different budget tiers. So if you take the $170, right, for this, what happens is that Lucy's budget actually is going to split. She's going to have $170.99 in one budget, and then she's going to have $129.00 in the other budget, right? And then that should equal a total of $300. And it's actually going to look like this. Did I mess that up? I think I messed it up. Let's try this one more time. Insert to the left. There we go. So this is going to be 300, 300, and then this is 170, and this is 129. Okay, so her total UmBUS budget is 300, but she broken it down into two layers. One is going to be, I have names for all these layers. Where is it? So this is, let me quickly get the names. It'll be helpful. We'll go over all of this together later. So the worst is the global loss budget.
Yeah.
Right? So the global loss budget is 100% negative. Then you have the global revenue budget. So Lucy is obviously already into the global revenue budget, which would be this one. So this is the global revenue budget. And then you have the loss budget. And this is the global loss budget. Okay, so she lost 129, but she gained 170, and they're both 300. Okay?
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, this one is 170, yeah, 179. We'll double check it all and figure it out. So what happens is that these all add up to the same amounts, you know, within the UmBUS budget and the global revenue budget and the global loss budget. But then when it's ranked, it'll actually change the hours. So then you're gonna do a prorating of the hours, which is super easy to do, right? Because you can just say this is a percentage.
Why this other one is not right? It's bring 341 total.
What?
Check on N. It has 341. Is it supposed to be like that?
What?
Line 51.
Line
number
21?
40.
It's still on Lucy, where you are.
Yeah,
I'm
which line?
asking why total is 341. I think the total needs to be 300. Let me see.
Oh, 341? Yeah,
Yeah.
don't worry about that. I don't know why that's even totaled. So anyway, so your global revenue budget is going to be 57%, whereas your global loss budget is 43%. So then what happens is that you prorate your hours between them, and then you'll get your hours, and then you'll have your budget ranking within both budgets, okay? So I'll show you guys how this all works when we actually do the budget, but I wanted to make sure you understood why. There's two reasons why we do this. One is to get the exact old world number. Also, now Lucy can go to any team she wants to, right? Or let's say Zilu. So Zilu has $87. He can switch teams and go to old world and bring his $87 with him, right? So it makes it very flexible that people can move and change around their buddy teams and move and change around everything. And we're also going to be adding these up per buddy team, right? So another next step. So next steps is, per buddy team, right? So we can calculate Lucy's loss or profit right here, right? So she's at negative 43%. But then we're going to do it per buddy team, right? So we'd add Lucy and Lucy, you were Steve?
Joseph.
You were Joseph, yeah. So then we would do Joseph. I don't know what Joseph's is, but then it would be an average between Lucy and Joseph, and then that's what would go in the budget. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So from there, we needed to update the budget and add in the new budget tiers. And there's going to be about 7 tiers. Obviously, the top tiered budget is the owner's budget, where you're actually bringing in external income and actually paying your own rate externally, which is where the budget that I'm in, right? And so the goal is that everyone's working towards getting up the levels of the budget. I can show you really quickly the different tiers. So the worst is the global loss budget, which is 0% revenue. It's 100% loss, totally negative, no good. Then you have the global revenue budget, where you're actually bringing in some revenue, but it's still not enough to cover your budget. And then this is all still part of the global budget. Then we have the UmBUS reserves budget. This is where you're actually starting to get into the UmBUS budget, where you actually have a positive net increase in your total budget. And this is where you want to be. Then you have the UmBUS income budget, which means you're not only covering your past budget, right? So this UmBUS reserves budget only covers the previous month. It covers the past. Your goal is to actually bring income and actually paying your forward budget for the current budget, as opposed to just the past budget. So this is where you're really your goal to get is to actually be over 100%. You want to more than cover your budget. And then, of course, eventually you'll be getting into the owner's reserves budget and the owner's income budgets and actually bringing in actual money. Okay?
Okay.
So that's where you actually have your own budget. If people don't get into the owner's budgets, they really can't expect to be involved in the long term. I mean, we just can't endlessly pay people money. I mean, we're a publicly accountable organization, and any vote can change the budget. So it's like if people don't help bring in money, they really are not. They're not a stable position. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So we're gonna show how to do all of these budgets in the actual updating the budget, and then we'll show how it changes the rankings, and that's it. You know, and then and it'll all be automatic. So in the future, once we get it set up, you just add in the amounts. You know, you just add in, oh, you know, here's the amount. All you need is this number right here for Lucy. You pop it in there, and everything else is automatic, and it'll automatically update her rankings and everything based on the budget. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went through a lot more detail here than people are going to need to know in the future, because in the future it'll all be automatic. You just plug the numbers, and then all the calculations happen automatically. So I think that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions, or does that make sense?
So what about our operate internal ops?
These are the internal ops. So let's say, Lucy, you have budget, documentations, payroll, UmBUS, worker coordination. So this is all your internal ops, and then this is all your client work. So you brought in $84 for client work, then you brought in $86 for internal ops.
Okay. I'm asking, can we, especially on worker coordination, add some amount there? Because really, worker coordination can be everything. Like before, you put more money on documentation, but worker coordination is also almost more than worker documentation.
I mean, we can discuss how we want to do our budget, and it needs to be approved. So the answer is, if we can agree to it and approve it, it's fine. But worker coordination overall shouldn't take a lot of time. In fact, I think people put worker coordination that's not actually work. Right? There's a big difference between doing worker coordination and just saying you're doing worker coordination. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, when most of the things are under worker coordination, scheduling, like.
But scheduling isn't work. Scheduling isn't work. Like that's not billable work. Right? Only internal ops billable work is billable.
HR board.
If it's not billable, then it's not. HR board would be under budget.
You know, always we bill HR board under worker coordination.
Well, it's not correct. HR board voting is for the budget.
Okay. You need to note that down now.
Yeah, I mean, you bill based on what you're accomplishing, the work that you're doing. If you're working on the budget, if the HR board voting form is for the budget, it's for the budget, not worker coordination. Does that make sense?
Okay. Now, what about
HR ranking? HR ranking would be worker coordination. Yeah, that's good. Mm-hmm. But again, it's not HR ranking. It's the specifics of the actual rankings that we want to add in there, and we could even make a separate.
We have individual.
Yeah, we want
direct ranking.
Yeah. And that could be part of its own thing. We could just have rankings as its own separate budget.
Yeah, that should be better.
Because rankings is an entire. I mean, it's a lot. A lot goes into rankings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have a different type of ranking that we need to build because all the rankings are built under worker coordination.
Yeah, but rankings isn't really worker coordination because it doesn't actually coordinate workers. Yeah.
Okay, we can have a meeting and
I
discuss
unplugged
on
everything because I was creating Vantage Bool. Yeah, we can discuss the budget in the meeting. So our internal ops budget is controlled by the workers. So just like we create our overall budget and approve it, we also approve our internal ops budget.
Yes.
Yeah, but for now we just divide by the number of things. So if we want to add things to our internal ops, we can.
Yeah, for now it's okay.
Great. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much. I know
thank
we went.
you so much for your time.
Yeah, we did an extra 2 hours. So I mean, but this is what it takes to get the output and actually finish things. So I'll talk to you guys later. Let's prioritize those taxes. If we don't prioritize the taxes, it's not going to be good.
We will.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.